Oh, there you are. Come in, come in. Sit back, relax, put your feet up, put your hands down, and come along for a fantasy ride that you'll wish you'd never found.
Smart sound.
That hammer is like kryptonite to a crab.
Archery.
Straight up, it's a second, or at least a third.
Smart sound.
And with me on today's show, as ever, is Benjo Tinker Taylor.
Hello.
Hey!
Thank you very much for having me.
And our special guest today,
He's already
Lawrence,
introduced himself.
the Sauna King of the West.
Hello.
How are we, everyone?
Good, mate. Good.
Very well. Thank you very much. Very, very excited to be back.
To be back.
Very
It's
excited
been
to be
a while,
here
hasn't
for
it?
the first time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been a long
exactly.
time. And of course, very excited to have Lawrence with us. First time today. No
Dilute.
pressure,
Yeah.
although by which I mean quite a lot of pressure,
I
actually.
mean, all the pressure, really.
Yeah.
We've given up. People have given up on us.
Yeah.
There's only got hope for you.
Yeah.
Oh, boys, how I will let you down. But in style. In style. It'd be like falling down a staircase. It would be great.
It says Lawrence has left the chat. That's weird.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Okay, we can cut all this out. It's fine. Okay, right. So Ben, tell us about the time that you appeared on a billboard in Asia.
Yes. Okay. So, I, like many of us, when I was a student, was prone to a little bit of, bit of a lad, right? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, we've all done it, you know. Have a few beers, go out, yeah, proper uni lad, right? Anyway, so one Sunday afternoon, I was lying in bed in my flat in Plymouth, outrageously hungover, and peering out my window and through my sort of haze, I noticed a peculiar car making its way around very slowly. This one stood out. It was a small white car with an appendage on the roof. It was, of course, the Google Maps car. This was in the early days of Street View, of course.
Oh.
So,
Ooh.
you know,
Right.
I threw on my slacks and a hoodie, ran downstairs of my flat, out into the open sort of car park area, and hid behind the wall, which beyond which passed a road which the Google Maps car was sure to pass. Peered out from behind it. No, it still had a little way to come. Okay, that's fine. I was in no rush. I knew exactly what I wanted to do.
So you'd burst through the haze of your hangover
Yeah.
to be immortalized forever on the internet.
Listen, you see an opportunity, you ready take it, don't you? But, you know, I'm no fool. I'm not going to miss this opportunity. So about 2.5, 3 hours later, it's approaching my my street now. I'm peering around the corner. Okay, here it comes.
So you were squatted down behind a wall for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did the
That's
haze
it,
take you and just knock you out? Just in your little stupor.
I wasn't feeling great. There were a couple of moments when I had realised that I needed,
Yeah.
you know, to go.
Yeah.
And you know, because I wasn't feeling very well, a little bit of a poorly tummy.
Ben, were you just literally ill? There was no night before. You were just one of those pasty kids that always had a little bit of a sniffle.
Yeah, you just got the sniffles really
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Your mum had said, just take some ibuprofen and lie down.
Exactly. I
You
went out in my dressing gown to get some more night nurse, and I noticed a funny car.
I woke up having saw the bed, saw the Google Maps car, reached for my inhaler.
I was putting my bed sheets on the line as I do every morning.
Every morning, as mother told me, because she rings at 9 to double check that I have. Benjamin, have you? I have, Mama. I'm ready for another day.
Those
of
plastic sheets
education.
aren't going to rinse themselves.
Now I've got you the waterproof ones for a reason. So, Lawrence, so you were saying about me being a bit of a lad. I have a feeling you're about to cast some aspersions.
Well, it's
on
just
my,
because I think we were doing. I first met you during primary school, and you were playing. I think one of the leading characters in a Gilbert and Sullivan think you were playing the tax collector, mate. You had the very particularly fine robes that your nan had put together for you. Obviously, assembled through charity shops and curtains from random places.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, this guy, because you started, if I say, on the most anti-lad kind of ladder, as it were. I mean, put it this way, Bear. Just imagine, if you will, a kid in primary school, greasy hair.
I do quite
loads
like
of,
yeah.
loads.
Loads of spots. Yeah.
Loads of spots. No friends. All right. Wait for it. All right. No friends.
A little bit simple.
Third-hand shoes. Right. Bottom of the class. All right. Well, he took the piss out of Ben. Right. Sorry.
He ate well. Even that guy ate well for 4 years at school, taking Ben's dinner. Yeah.
It's just the lad quality, mate. I don't remember fully when you became laddish. I don't remember you being a big Jaeger hoffer.
Well, you're familiar with the concept of yin and yang.
Okay, of course. Oh, well, at that point, I'm going to...
is this where Asia comes into this?
not
twins.
Quite yet,
twins next door. I can cut this out.
I think you have to
cut that bit out. But now you've opened that door, there'll be more references.
That happens a lot.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay.
So I'm crouched behind the wall, waiting for the Google Maps car to come through. I noticed it's gone down a few streets beforehand. Suddenly, it's coming past the entrance to my driveway, as it were. Here's my opportunity.
Once in a lifetime.
As it's passing, I jump out, turn, face away from it. PJ bottoms down. Perfect moon at the Google Maps car. PJ's up, scamper in, giggling to myself. Perfect crime. They've not seen my face. They don't know who I am, They
know you're but they don't know who you are.
That boy looks like he's soiled his bed sheets.
And so mooned and thought no more about it for a year or two. Finished university, all the rest of it. That's fine. I then get... I think I'd move back to my place but move back to Mum's. And
she had the best sheets. Yeah.
Yeah, she had the best. Well, she had the best washing machine actually. But I moved back there.
Power hose.
And one day I get a little bit of post through the door. Very rare for me to get anything addressed to me. Was the Google with the Google logo in the corner. So I open it up and it's only a bloody check for royalties. Yeah? Bloody royalties from Google. What the hell is this? There's nothing, no further information. It's just it's a check for
for how much?
It was £412 and 38 pence.
From Google.
Random number, I know. Yes, from Google. I'll explain, as I'm sure you're itching me to do. Itching for me to do, not itching me to do. That'd be
weird.
Wow. Freudian.
Now, as you may be aware, you probably are aware, images taken by the Google Maps car are public domain. By which, of course, I mean they're put onto the website. Nobody owns them. They're for everyone. But they can be purchased. So my lovely bare bottom was displayed for all to see. All those who were fortunate enough to stumble upon it, on
I'm
Google
sure
Maps.
There are definitely some aggregator websites that have.
Oh yeah. They know what they're looking for. I imagine I had a pretty high hit rate, as it were. It's ironic. Ironic because my real life hit rate was embarrassingly low. But anyway, yes, it was public domain. It was visible for what, a couple of years. But little known fact is you can actually purchase the rights to images on Google Maps. Now, some other ruddy lad, an ad agency in South Korea. Obviously, I don't know what he was doing, going through Muttley Plain Google Maps.
Yeah.
So someone
But
in
apparently-
Korea made your career. Like it. Sorry.
So he'd noticed this. He knew a good thing when he saw it, right? And my two tender little cheeks, he very much considered to be a good thing. He purchased them not for private use, but for his ad company, right?
Those
Now-
things don't have to be mutually exclusive, Ben.
Well, no, true. Now, a few months down the line, his ad agency, which I do know the name of, but I'm not going to insult them by trying to pronounce.
Cheeky boys.
No.
Maybe he was
No,
just typing in cheeky boys, or cheeky.
No,
boys.
see, again, I feel like you guys are making fun of it. In my mind, he was the Don Draper of South Korea. In my mind, he's a bourbon in hand, cigar in mouth, going, "That's the ass."
Yes. Land of
One
the
ass.
land
A
of the
few months-
rising.
Bum.
In many ways, where I lived in Plymouth that morning was land of the rising bum. Anyway,
But question, Ben, this is just
Yeah, go
specific
ahead.
about the image because I'm thinking that it's got your two lovely cheeks in there. But how does it know that you were a boy? Was there more in the picture? Do you know what I mean?
no, it was a fairly androgynous image. I'd
like a robot
ensured
bum.
I made sure that I'd cupped, so there was no.
Frozen for me then, I'll be.
Would the pajamas have given it away?
Well, very possibly. No, I'd cupped everything so that there was no fallout, and I'm very lucky. I'm blessed. Hirsute boy
Blessed
down
with
there.
a hairy bum. It's
Um,
with a matted,
no, my-
with a.
So, a few months down the line, this gentleman, I don't know his name.
Don. Let's
His
call him
ad
Don.
no, I don't know his name, but whoever this chap was, this clearly very
I think you should
forward-thinking,
probably give it a go.
Go for it, mate.
Um,
You must be able to remember it because he made you in Asia, right? Didn't he?
there is absolutely no way that I can I can name him
You could if you
without
said it.
seriously damaging the
My chances
the podcast
of ever
and or
becoming-
my own reputation, such
Give it
as
a go,
it is.
mate. Give it. Tell you what we'll do, right?
Mhm.
You'll say the name, and if Bear thinks that it's just not good for the podcast, we'll bleep it.
That's
Be
it.
fine.
I'll just.
Okay, so this gentleman who I later found out his name was.
Got me.
That's gone. That's gone. That's not in the podcast.
Right, no.
That's gone.
No.
Is that all right?
Nope.
No, what?
What was his last name?
Dave.
Jones.
Just keep bleeping it.
Well, yeah, Jones. He's from Wales, actually. He just worked.
Just work
It was.
in, overseas.
Yeah. Which is fine. Why did you assume he was Asian? That's weird.
Why would you do that? Jesus, wow.
Racist.
Well, of course. Well, okay, yeah. So his name. I'm not going to insult you by saying it fully because I won't get it right. But I knew him as Kangi.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's
Kangi,
pretty
yeah?
legit.
So Kangi worked for this company, and he kept his image that he bought the rights to, or his company bought the rights to, waiting for the right campaign. And then, probably 6 months later, his company was commissioned to write an ad campaign for a new product. Going to be, they wanted to be all the rage in South Korea, and indeed, ideally, the world. I don't know if you're familiar with the concept of goat chips.
No, that's completely new to me. What are goat chips?
Oh, we know
Ben.
potato chips.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the same thing but goat. You may have heard of it if you've travelled to the Far East, or if any listeners have travelled to the listeners,
Huh?
if any listeners have travelled to the Far East, they may be familiar with the concept of goat chips.
I see.
Um,
So you're saying this is literally made out of goats, Ben?
I don't know the ins and outs of the product, but just goat chips.
So
Yeah,
and they paid you £438 pounds. Sorry, £430 38p. Because you're.
It was £412 and 38 pence. I mean, let's stick to the facts.
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure
Sorry,
neither
good
of
shout,
these are right.
And what was the ad, Ben? Was it just your bare ass? And then
You familiar with some of the nuances of Far Eastern advertising.
What did it say underneath it? And was it just the picture, or did they have like dialogue with it, or
What flavours did they have?
They worked in a very similar way to how it works over here. So with
good, that's good, isn't it?
With potato,
convenient, isn't it?
That's convenient, isn't it? It works very similar to the West.
Yeah, no, it works very similarly. So they'd have plain flavour, or as we would call it, ready salted.
Mm-hmm.
They had
what? Say it.
No, I feel like it's too
say
racist.
it. Just say
I was
it.
gonna
It'll
say
keep it. Just say it. We're past that point. We'll all
my
go
legal
down
team
the
has advised me
line.
never to say it again. Nothing is too racist, Ben.
There was the old bamboo and shake. I don't know if you remember salt and shake.
Yeah.
Same thing, but bit of bamboo.
Okay.
Cactus, tiramisu, Wednesday.
Don't just name your kids. That's just all the
Brian
things you've just
and
Brian
and go
and ennui.
Oh,
Those were the
French.
flavors.
Okay.
Oh, wait, nice.
Those were the flavors. I don't know how they translate to the European market. I'd imagine probably similar to prawn cocktail.
Cheese and onion.
Cheese and onion. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, to my shame, I've never sampled this product.
I feel like we're avoiding the bum in the room.
Yeah. What was the tagline? What was the use of your ass in the shot, Ben?
Okay, well, sure. I mean, I got sent.
This is a billboard.
Billboard.
About.
So I obviously I received this royalties check and inquired down. Basically, I sent an email along the lines of what the hell is going on, and I was sent some proof copies just about a week before they went on display. And as you say, they were billboards. I think there were approximately 740 of them through South Korea. So big, expensive campaign.
Yeah, wow.
And the image essentially consisted of a packet of the delicious goat chips in a variety of flavors. You know, some of them it would be ennui, others it would be Wednesday, and next to that, immediately next to it, my lovely pert, fully exposed arse, and then below that, the tagline. And I think this will actually work really well. So picture it in your mind. You've got lovely goat chips.
This better be good, Ben.
You've got my arse.
Yeah.
And then below that,
oh no,
the tagline was just and that was it. That was it. And apparently, I mean, you guys laugh. You guys laugh. And yes, I know it wasn't that successful. It wasn't that successful. I know, but it sold some, right? So yeah. So
Ben, can I just double check? But
check.
why was
yeah, sure.
Why did he go on Google Maps to find a picture of an arse? It seems like he went a long way round to find a picture of an arse on the internet.
As I understand it, it was specifically a Western arse that they wanted for their campaign.
If an arse is worth discovering,
I don't think he was specifically looking for an arse when he came across mine. I think he was just having a browse and saw it and thought, wow.
So maybe what he was doing there was he was looking for a nice landscape to kind of go with, like the crisps with as in, isn't that nice? And then he found Ben's ass and just went, I thought, if that's what that conjures in me.
Yeah. Listen, guys. I feel like you're overanalyzing. You can't dissect the creative process.
Your bum, Ben.
you can't dissect the creative process. He knew what he had when he saw it.
Yeah,
and he was right. Yeah. But what an arse!
An arse. And Ben has not stopped making an arse of himself publicly or in Asia
ever since. but I
Cheers
don't
to
get my
that.
but I don't get my bum out for fear of being sued because I no longer hold the copyright to my own buttocks.
Oh, mate.
Cheers.
Cheers. Well done.
Thanks, Ben.
Lawrence, your turn. Debut on the pod.
Excited.
I would like you, please, to tell me about the time you were known in Brighton as the Crab Meat King.
The Crab Meat King.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you this. So it's a little festival that's held outside of Brighton every year. It's a music festival, predominantly now, but it started as a literary festival.
Oh, okay.
And I went there with my mate.
Sorry,
Alex.
what was it called?
I think it's changed its name now. I think it was called the Porthcurnon Music Festival.
Okay.
Yeah. Because there's Porthcurnon, which is the only Porth that exists outside of, to my knowledge, outside of Cornwall.
Hang on,
Okay.
I studied university at Portsmouth.
Oh, that'll do it. Yeah, well, that makes sense. It's only because I've never really left Cornwall too much, really. So,
Okay.
but I was up there because my stepsister Lally was studying. I went out there, and my mate Alex Rogers had free tickets because he was local there, or his mum was. And Lally came along, so it's me, Alex, and Lally, and we pitched a tent, and it was just a normal festival. I'm crap at festivals, really, and walk around. Everyone had. Well, I don't like live music, really. It sounds terrible. I love it. I love it when what the problem is when I listen
or beer
or beer. I love the beer,
fresh air.
but I always find that the music's interrupting, and people are like, "Oh, I love this song." I'm like, "Yeah, it doesn't sound like it sounds on the record." So
record.
if you can't play it like it's on the record,
on the
why are you
wireless,
playing it? Exactly.
Back in Cornwall. Yep.
Sadly, I completely know what you mean. I'm ashamed to admit. Actually,
I'm just like, play it like you did on the record, or don't play it, or play it better.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, we paid good money for this. When I hear you sing it well, yeah.
Or the voices are gone, and playing.
So you were camping, you said, Lawrence? Yeah,
I'm camping. It was.
How many of you were there? You say 3 people?
3. There's 3 of us.
Okay, so you and say it was
Alex Rogers. Yeah, Alex.
You
Rogers.
and Alex in a tent.
Yeah.
I bet he did in a tent with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. He jumped in. Yeah, he was going.
Okay.
He was very like yeah. He's very Roy.
Where's he from?
Rah.
Cornwall,
but he's really, he might as well. He's one of those people that he can't say anything at a normal tone. Everything is kind of shouted. Everything is really loud, and he's just like, "Hey, Lolly," because he calls me Lolly. Lolly, come this way. We're gonna go on the log flumes. They had basically all these kind of toys there that you'd have at an amusement park or a fair.
Okay.
And we did it all. We did the coconut shy. We did, the archery one. We did everything.
Archery.
I mean, those are banned in civilized England in the 1940s.
Yeah, that well-known thing you have at a fun fair, fucking archery, right next to the coconut shy.
Yeah.
It was that. No, they have the little archery tents where you can win a bear. Like, when you throw the balls and they go through like the holes and malarkey, and you get a bear. They have that with archery now. You do like it's like you think it would be really easy, but it's not.
This sounds like, although it is in Brighton, so I'm not surprised, the most middle class festival I've ever heard of. What was it? What was in the other tent? Sourdough culture competition.
So it was lots of Heston Blumentine showing you new recipes, everything like that.
And we went to the ayahuasca healing fields after that.
Mate, that would have been interesting. That didn't occur at all. It was just literally, I mean, it might as well have just been the summer fete. It was like bobbing for apples, basically. Anyway, we walked by. There's the food tent, and we go in, and they were like, there are oysters there, and of course, Alex was like, "Hey, Lolly, how many of these do you think you can do?" And I was like,
What? Sorry to interrupt, Lawrence. What time of day was this? Just so I can picture it.
At the festival where it kind of blurs between 10 a.m. to about 3 p.m. We're in that waking hour of. We haven't done any drugs, but we have been drinking quite a lot. Brunch.
Okay.
Very middle class.
So you've narrowed it down to a 5
Well, I mean, you
6...
are eating oysters at a festival. So, I'm guessing it's a little bit middle class.
It's a little bit middle class here. It's basically the festival for people who don't like festivals.
Yeah,
And anyway,
between that and the archery, I would say
Between
so.
that and the
Above festivals. Yep.
Yeah. People are there. They like festivals, ironically.
That's so sad because that's me. First of all, I'm like, I don't really like being here. Not really.
Yeah.
I'm here for the music-ish. But we go around this food tent, and for me, it's looking up because we're in the food tent. I'm like, brilliant. This is solid, bankable. I know that I'm gonna have a good time. It's good food. They do cheeses and bits like that. I'm like, rah, rah, rah. And then there's a crab eating competition, and I was like, well, what doth that mean? Pray tell. I asked the gentleman, and he says, "Don't speak to me."
He said,
that.
"What?"
I said, "What's it about?" And he said, "Well, it's a crab eating competition. You got to take a freshly boiled crab. You got to smash it down as quickly as you can. You got to consume all the innards, including the arms, crab claws, every little bit.
So this man said the arms, did he?
he did.
This man who presumably knows.
He said biceps, triceps.
He would have said the incisors and the foreclaw and the strong claw, but I was just breaking it down to layman's terms.
The
audience at home could appreciate.
Don't be afraid to give us the jargon.
Good man.
It's fine.
And make it up if you don't know it.
But we're past that point. So
you've got to have the body, both arms, I assume?
Both arms.
What about the toesies? You've got to have the toesies as well?
You've got to have the toesies and the posies. You've got to have it full.
Okay.
And you got to get it down. And I was like, well, all right. And Alex was like, oh, lolly, I'm going to do this. And he just jumped in and he just started going for it. He did the first round and he failed. He just failed miserably because they had a time limit on it. And by the way, can I just say at this point, it feels like a very small competition to me because it's just him by himself. It's not like loads of people like, American hot dogs going.
The competition is him by himself.
Yeah, him by himself with a stopwatch.
So it's not done. It's not done in heats. It's done. They time you individually. Okay, I'm with you.
Because they can't attract people all the way through the day.
They probably can't get enough people who will fancy some crab at the same time.
Not on a festival. Tricky one. Tricky one.
I mean, that's a bold choice as a snack.
And I imagine by day 5 of the festival, there's a whole different element of.
What was the state of the toilets at this place? I'd imagine pretty medieval.
It was literally a festival, so kind of all right. But can I mention the celeb? There was a celeb who was there, who we bumped into.
We love a bit of juice. Yeah.
Celeb, all right. Do you remember Desperate Housewives? They had that series on Channel 4 that came out with the lady who played Lois Lane in the Superman thing.
Oh, Terry Hatcher. There we go. So we're showing our age there.
Austin, yeah. She came, she stood by it, and she started watching this heat. At which point, I wouldn't have taken part, but the gentleman was like, "Off you go, mate." And the thing is, Ben, as I'm sure you can attest to the viewer, I can eat. I'm a man who enjoys his food.
Well, quite right. You do. You love a snack, don't you?
So I sit down and I just crack on with it. Pardon the pun. And I'm just, which is for the viewers at home, I consume it very quickly.
Can I, before you race ahead, can I ask your technique? Because of course, when it comes to eating crab, it's not like a hot dog that you can just ram it into your gob.
Yeah, you're right.
There's dissection to take place, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
You said you can eat meat off the bone, but of course, with a crab, it's an exoskeleton. It's contained. It comes in its own wrapper. It's perfect, actually, in many ways. So how did you go about overcoming that?
What I did is that I actually looked at the pot because they had them in a big see-through pot. So you could see them like swim. Sorry, that sounds like I can't describe like a fishbowl. They were in a fishbowl. They took them out of the fishbowl and they put them into a big glass boiling pot when they put them in, and you could see them getting boiled. It was pretty medieval. But I saw that there's one that had just been boiled around there for ages, and I thought he's having trouble. Alex Rogers just swirling.
One at the bottom.
Help me! And I thought I think that one, the exoskeleton, will be worn down on that one. I reckon I can just push through that in seconds.
Oh, so this wasn't an act of humanity you were putting out of misery. You just thought you identified the weak link.
He looks pliable. That one,
like the weak gazelle falling behind the herd.
Exactly. Like I fell upon it like a pack of hyenas, and Terry Hatcher was there with me. And by also that point, I've when you kind of sprung up that gentle conversation. I was
with Terry Hatcher, yeah.
I was kind of like, I said, you going to do it? And she went, no. She said, no way. Oh my God, that's disgusting. Also,
she wasn't Welsh, was she?
She was pretty Welsh.
Okay.
Well, it's weird you should say that, Ben, because she did actually say that she had Welsh ancestry, and she started talking about shooting the Welshman with a bow, and I was like, "Don't you go near those bow tents, Terry."
Well, from what I understand as well, her surname Hatcher is her ancestry. It comes from. It's actually a bit. It almost sounds distasteful to mention now, but shit,
Yeah.
they're crab hatchers. So I mean, maybe that would explain her presence there.
That would make so much more sense because she seems so into it.
Well, this
And
is
the
what
way
I mean,
that she
yeah.
said, she was the one who said, pick the weakest one. And she said it just like that.
Okay.
Pick the weakest
This is not her first rodeo.
one. Straight up, it's her second, or at least her third. She said, pick the weak one. It's like kryptonite. It just goes straight through them. And I went, oh, like Superman. And she went,
Nice.
what are you talking about?
That hammer is like kryptonite to a crab.
Yeah, to a crab. I was like, well, I mean, yeah, Terry. And anyway, so I pushed on, and the gentleman said, "Come up." I sat down, and was everyone else been using a hammer? I could just use my hands.
Really sorry to interrupt, but I feel like we've missed a very crucial bit. So you've identified the crab you want swimming around.
Yeah.
And the next stage you've gone to is it being on your plate.
That's correct.
I feel like something happened between. And I know I'm
right.
sorry.
I'm
sorry for any sensitive.
Thinking, I know what you're thinking, Ben. You're thinking that I'm just going to say that me and Terry Hatcher just picked the weakest crab, and it ended up on the plate for the competition.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad you brought attention to that point because that's not quite what happened. At that point, Alex stood up and he bumped into the cauldron which they were cooking in, and it fell to the floor and they all spilled out.
Oh no!
And the gentleman was like, "Oh, for crying out loud!" And the rest of them scuttled away, and he picked up.
Bit underdone
because there was only one that wasn't even moving, and that was the weakest one.
The limp one.
You also given up.
Yeah, he given up.
It's like wet cardboard.
Exactly, but very tasty.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the long. I'll give you the long version of this short story, which is I ate the fish. Sorry, what do you call them? Shellfish. There we go. Oh. Shellfish. Crustacean. Thank you. I ate the crustacean in about 1 minute 30.
Good Lord, that's very.
Did you? Oh, were you the guy at that festival that was the first person in history to not actually take the exoskeleton off of the crab? You just ate it straight.
Yeah. You heard about that. Okay, so now this is interesting, Ben, because that's what it made to the Brighton News. They said, "Man eats entire exoskeleton. How is he alive?" And the St. John's ambulance took him aside, and they said, "Mate, you can't have done that." And I said, "No, it's fine." And everyone was like shaking their head because also I do magic now and then. I do magic for my friends, and they thought I was doing a magic trick. I'm not doing a magic trick. I just down the whole thing.
You would make it reappear 6 to 8 hours later.
Yeah, exactly. But of course, not the case. Not the case. And St. John's ambulance, they're running around all sorts. And we had a lady called Maureen who was looking after me. Apt for.
Yeah, it's appropriate. Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, you can't have done that." And I said, "Where are you from?" She said, "America." I went, "Get out, whereabouts?"
What part of America?
She said, "I'm from LA." And I was like, "Get out of town." And Terry Hatcher jumped in and she was like, "Get out of town. I'm from LA too." And she said, "Nah, you're from Wales." And then Terry started, as she always did. By this point, she's firm friends with her and Alex. They're like that.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, they take a picture, and it turns out that I actually broke the record for like eating a crab in the quickest time, not just in like the county, but in the country. At which point I was like, "What?" And they put me on good Lord, indeed. They put me on the Gazette, Brighton Gazette. Anyway, I was like, "Great, phenomenal." I don't appreciate this until I turn up in Brighton 2 days later, and I'm at this. I'm down on the pier front, and anyone's been to Brighton will know that they have sea vendors on the seafront, some really good caricature artists. Me and Lally have just posed for a caricature for 5 minutes. It looks nothing like us. And then this guy just comes up to me and was like, "You are the crab king of Brighton." And I was like, "What do you mean?" "The crab meat king of Brighton." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And there was there's different versions of it in different articles, but the Brighton Gazette, the Brighton Herald, and the Brighton Post all featured me as the man who ate a crab in the fastest time.
Wow, what a story. That is remarkable.
That is unbelievable.
But since then, mate, I've got to say that my handshake, and I'm not trying to say that this is... No, don't. You laugh. Everyone fucking laughs at this bit, but it's true. My handshake has been like a vice. Literally, I've gotten jobs off my handshake.
I'm sure you have given jobs off your handshake.
But when I go in, I literally this, kind of dull-eyed, docile, whoever it is who's like inviting me in for the audition. I shake their hand, and at the end, their eyes just widen. And for a while, I thought it's because I have such soft hands, but it's not that. It's because I've got a vice-like grip. And also, when I exit the room, I'm just like,
you always exit the room sideways.
Oh wow, what a story! Amazing.
That's amazing.
Thank you very much.
So, Austen, got an unusual one this time, because this is one which is I believe is still running, isn't it? Can you please tell us about the patent that you've applied for?
Yes, Ben, I can. Well, I've got several pending at the moment.
Okay.
Which, well, I won't ask you specifically for which one, but
which you told me recently about the most recent one that you applied for. You were very excited about. Can you fill us in on that?
Okay. Well, I've got. Okay, so I'll just the ones that I can off the top of my head. I can think.
There were four, weren't there? You said you had four that were, you were waiting to hear back about. Can you just quickly run through what they were?
You were talking about it all the time in the pub, Ben.
I know. I talk about a lot of things all the time. It's well, I've got. Okay, so I've got. There's a.
Remember, it's only four. It's only four. That's all you've got to do.
Well, no, I think there might be more than four now, actually, Ben.
You told me one. You were saying something, and forgive me, Bear. I lost track of it because there were so many.
We're hopeful with some of them. There's we've got a patent on a shoe that never comes back when you throw it. There's a patent on a machine that turns drinking water back into seawater.
Right, I see.
We haven't been able to fully reverse engineer that yet, which I think people have been clamoring for, but we've worked out the other way. Basically, anytime you have a surplus of drinking water, but
which is very common, isn't it?
But you want somewhere to be able to splash about like you're in the sea, then we've managed to find out the technique of doing that.
Yeah, as I understand,
we think will be a big seller in Central Africa. Because they're in landlocked countries.
That's a good shout.
I was just
hot landlocked countries. When you want to splash around in the sea,
you never see them swimming.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. No. And I think that's where it's going to help them, because they've got enough going on with the droughts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To not be able to have a
they don't get enough downtime.
The beach.
They don't get enough time to relax.
Exactly. Just to take their mind off it for a bit, have a swim in some undrinkable water. Maybe that's what they need.
I was chatting to a friend of mine, Naeem, over there, and I said to him, I was chatting on, and like we're doing video call, and he said, I said, how is it down there without the sea? And he said, he literally went, it's the problem is without the sea being here, it's just so boring.
What?
He said the problem is that the news, and this is the BBC through and through, and we've said it before and we'll say it again, is the BBC always talking about the drought. But it'd be less drought if they had more tourists for the sea.
Exactly, and ice creams.
Sure.
Yeah,
and ice creams.
Yeah. What we did a lot of research in Central African countries, and what they said was you can float about in the rivers, the murky rivers,
when they're running. Yeah,
exactly. When if you can find them, but it's the buoyancy that you don't appreciate. You don't get the benefits of, which you do.
And that is what's lovely about that over there, because they don't get so much water, so much hideous water over there, that when the droughts do break and they do have so much water come through, it's an event. Whereas over here, it's just all through the year. There's nothing to go to. Really? Right, well, it's too much. No one can be able to. You look at the sea. Is there other people bobbing up and down it in England? No,
water waste it is for us. I invented. You've heard of 3D chess?
Yes, yeah.
And 4D chess now.
Oh yeah.
We've got a patent for 0D chess pending at the moment.
Interesting.
Yep.
No dimensions.
Yep.
That's weird. We might have to talk after the podcast because
Mm-hmm.
I've got a patent
Mm.
pending on.
You've got a pendant, nice pendant as well, though.
I've got a lovely pendant.
Yeah.
It's
It's like an albatross around his neck. That pendant, honestly.
Quite big. It's quite big.
0D chests, which is a bra for men.
Oh, I see.
Without
Well,
anything to hold,
nice.
just
Well,
to
I
be
mean-
included.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm the wrong side of that scale. But yeah.
Well, good, mate. I just don't want any overlap because that'd be awkward between
Mhm.
friends,
Mhm.
you know. So
Yeah.
just
My boobs do overlap, so you know. We've also got pendant for a yellow bucket. And
Okay.
and a magic pet. No.
just bring you back to the yellow bucket. Just
No,
real
yep,
quick there,
yep.
Bear.
Sure.
So what about the yellow bucket is different from if I was to say, and it feels like a stupid question to
Mhm.
ask. But what's
There
different?
are no
between your
stupid
yellow
questions.
Thanks,
I
man.
can edit them out.
Let's just pretend that me and Ben are the dragon's den almost to these ideas.
Uh-huh.
But what's different between your yellow bucket and just say a regular yellow bucket they could pick up from like the range?
Well, do you know, you asked that, but now I think about it,
Mhm.
I'm not sure I have ever actually seen a yellow bucket.
You know, I think you're right. Other than when I was on the beach and making sandcastles, I don't
Yeah,
think
but
I've
that's
ever
not
seen a
that's
proper
not
yellow
functional. That's decorational. You know, it's
That's-
for
yeah.
tourists. We've all, but when you want a functional bucket, the stock color is black from home
A
base.
bucket you can
Fair enough.
trust, by the way.
You might be able to get a grey or brown one, but a proper I don't think I've ever seen a really functional yellow bucket.
Yeah,
what's
sure,
next on
sure.
on the patent pending?
There's well, the one that I'm most excited about
Yeah.
is a clip-on nose that you clip on your nose,
Yeah.
and it makes your nose look smaller than the nose you've already got.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Nice.
That's so. How does that work?
Exactly.
That's
Give us a
quite
little-
tricky, isn't it? Because you'd have to deal with the actual real nose
Ow.
underneath.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
you'd think physically it has to be bigger, and yet from an exterior perspective, it looks smaller.
Right, that's amazing. So is that the one that you're most excited about now?
Yes,
that you were telling me
yes.
about. Okay.
Yeah.
I
I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but that's
How-
the one we are the most excited about.
Do you mind giving us a little insight into how that works? Because I mean, that's
Well,
sounds phenomenal.
my R&D boys don't want me to go into specifics until we've got
Sure,
the
okay.
patent, of course.
Sure. Yeah.
But as far as I know, it's to do with an elaborate array of mirrors
Nice.
Oh wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
and cheese.
Jeez.
Just lean into that cheese for me for a second there.
Yeah, that's.
buddy.
I mean,
What's-
I wasn't
That's
expecting.
I've got to say, the mirrors had me because I thought that's tricky to cut around with you, but then
Mhm.
the cheese on top of that's
Mm.
a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one to get your head around, isn't it? But that's why
Wow.
they
Yeah.
get
Or
know,
your
paid-
nose around Bear, really. at that
Well,
point.
that's too true. Yeah, the guys, that's this is crazy to us, but it's thinking like this is a breeze to them.
Okay.
yeah.
And so
But
you say
that one's a gooder.
I
Can you
can-
give me a better reason for it?
Yeah. Turn the
Yeah.
screw. Turn the bloody screw. He's not getting away with this. So interesting, but you said that you've got your R&D boys.
Yeah.
You
That's
personally
that's
have
not
applied
music,
for...
by the way. That's not.
That's research and development, Ben, for those
Yeah,
who are in the know.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
you.
If you're
yet
not flying in
it's
the
not R.
clouds all the
Kelly.
time.
And yet you personally have applied for the patent. So this
Mhm.
was your personal invention.
Investment,
can you,
yes.
Can you give us a little, if you don't mind, like a little backdrop as to how you came across this? As you've applied for the patent, obviously it's yours. So can you how did you discover this?
Well, Ben,
Do you just sniff it out? Or
I've been,
Yeah.
I'm going to say blessed, with more than my fair share of no's.
Or more than all of our share of those, let's be honest.
to be fair.
I
mean,
some
there's a
would say
Roman
the
emperor
king's,
going.
the king's share, and what was the question?
My question was, was how did you so you've got your R&D boys on the case, but you've applied personally for the patent.
Yeah.
How did you discover?
They're in my stable. I've got a stable of R&B and D boys. Yes,
Wow.
I think we've spoken about this before. The donkeys, I'm not sure you can necessarily refer to as your boys, but
Down in Cornwall, you can. There's still laws.
Oh wow!
no.
Wow.
It's happened. It's just happened.
Well, that
It
was
always
flawless,
happens,
wasn't it?
but you just don't
Bloody
hear it.
flawless. Right.
Let's get back to the main point.
Mhm.
Of course,
Yeah.
referring to the donkey's
Phil,
main.
I will.
Tails,
I will interject. I'm sorry. I feel like any.
Interject into your own story. I love it. Let me interject.
Yeah,
Let
we
me just
want-
interrupt myself there.
we prefer to hear it from the horse's mouth.
I appreciate
Very
your interest and enthusiasm, and that's exactly why we've entered into this market.
It's a big market to saddle yourself with, there, buddy.
Mm.
Um,
Well, if you didn't, you'd be kicking yourself, wouldn't you?
You would, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you want to buck a trend,
Nice.
but you've applied for patents before, so this is not your first rodeo, is it?
It's at least your second or your
Yeah.
third.
Hold on. I feel like we should rein it in a bit.
Oh, nice. Well said, Ben. That's a good point. You've got to lasso that. and just
Lovely
pull
stuff.
it back. Pull
Lovely
it back.
stuff. I mean, this is golden.
Literally,
This
pull
is
it back.
really.
I'm not going to
first
edit any of
class.
this.
No.
Yeah.
This is your favourite kind of conversation. Is awful puns, isn't it? Where you love this. You absolutely love this.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so
So I'm clutching at straws.
brilliant.
Horses, straws. You know.
Yeah.
Hello. Is this
Yeah.
working? Hello.
Nice.
We're all jockeying for position on this one, aren't we? Okay, so
You're making this up. It feels like it's kind of off the hoof. So I had to shoot that one in.
that was. Yeah, like I say, the R&D boys don't really want me to talk about too much about this.
Okay.
Um,
Right. Sure.
The last one that I think we've got at the moment is the magic pen.
Oh, that sounds saucy or juicy. Why is it magic?
Well, this has got a bit of a backstory to it.
Has it? I thought it might.
Wonderful.
Go on.
Wonderful.
In the 80s, I was
Living in South America.
I went to I was on a what is it when I was a missionary, I think is that I
Yeah.
think that's a
Yeah,
thing, isn't it?
missionary is a word. Yeah.
I feel it's a word. I feel like a missionary would know.
No, it was
You were what? On holiday?
it was
I was a missionary.
Yeah, I was.
Such a question mark on your own job title.
well let me give you the clarification or the
Yes, please,
you know,
please.
Good,
Please.
because
give
you really bear. You're the only one who can. That's the irony.
I'm not sure I
The
am.
only one who can actually.
What's
So
your position on this
basically,
missionary?
I was at university in Portsmouth, and I met a lad down there, quite a feminine lad called Terry Thatcher, and we got on well.
Fuck me.
And anyway, so I'm not particularly religious, but the guy that I got acquainted with, he was what is it?
Missionary
He was an atheist.
Okay.
He was an atheist.
Atheist. There we go. Atheist. Okay.
And when you're at university and experimenting, so I thought, sure, I'll experiment with not
religion.
believing in
Organized religion.
organized religion. And as it turned out, just being friends with him, he was part of a troop. Not a troop. What would it be?
Fucking, there's so many troops in your story. The amount of times in your fucking story you come across a
What is
traveling
that?
troop.
I'm
a
a
troop
troop.
of atheists. What would it be? Well, but this is what I mean. If it would be a missionary. I'd be a missionary if I was
An
doing a
atheist
religious
missionary.
thing. What is it when you're not doing a religious thing?
Traveling.
Gap year, mate. It's a gap year.
Right. Okay. Fine. So we.
An atheist
this
troop.
is-
That's amazing.
So, as part of his atheism team,
So he's very militant atheist. He wanted to spread atheism.
well, this is exactly it. We all recognise and all acknowledge that people in religious groups, they will try and spread the word of their God and religion. But atheism, which I wasn't aware of, I'm just a country bumpkin, not quite the same levels as you guys. But so yeah, there's an actual movement to spread the word of not God around the world.
Okay.
And so, yeah, after a
Have
couple
they
of weeks
got
of
a
knowing
s-
him,
Do they have like a slogan for those group of guys?
well, I can give you the slogan for the tour that they did.
Oh, please
Okay.
do. Yeah.
Great. I'd love to
Okay,
hear
so
that.
this is, and I say I'm from England, and I wasn't sure about the religious makeup of different countries and cultures and
Sure.
stuff. But
Sure.
these guys were going to spend a month in Papua New Guinea.
Oh,
Okay.
that's
That's a real
That's
place.
an interesting place because as I understand it, and I'm sure you know this, there's a real clash of religion there because for hundreds of years there's been a clash between Christianity, Catholicism,
Yeah.
and the native religion,
Which was
based on the trading of, I think, shells.
Shells?
And the big shells.
Shell.
They love B&Q there. And some they consider any large shells that they find to be gifts from God. So that must have been a really complex and
Obviously,
it was,
interesting.
but luckily it
thing
was. Thank you, Ben, for recognizing that. But luckily, when you're 18 and drink quite heavily, that none of those concerns were really priority in my.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I'd hate to
decision-making.
think you were worried. Okay.
So the name of that tour in Papua New Guinea was the Papa Don't Preach tour.
Fucking hell. That's Jesus Christ. I felt physical pain when you said that.
Papa Don't Preach.
Um,
Oh, it's excellent. It's
And then-
really
and
excellent,
then-
but it hurt.
This from studying business in Portsmouth,
Yeah.
my eyes were opened in seeing a different part of the world, seeing religion and cultures. So I met completely different people that I was used to, and some of the people that I'd met were
Foreign?
Give me a second.
He's looking for another word just to
Some
throw
of the
in.
people that I met were from all over the world as well. It wasn't just English people.
So wait,
Yep.
some of the people you met from all over the world, from all over the world.
Exactly that. Yeah, nail on the head.
insane.
Yeah, exactly.
My God.
And I got really friendly with a guy from Egypt.
Oh, lovely.
Um,
Lovely. It's a real country. That's lovely, isn't it? That's-
yeah.
What was he called, Bear? What was he
He was called Fahid. We called him Fajay. It worked better. But in the Papua New Guinea dialect,
Oh, I see. Of course,
Fajay
yeah.
Fajay bounces off the tongue better.
Yeah.
Fajay.
Anyway, and so I made friends with him, and he was an intelligent guy, a really intelligent guy. Always wore glasses, 2 pairs of glasses, and I went back to
That's intelligence.
it's too intelligent, isn't it? Really. And I went back to Egypt with him. He was just an ideas man, and he had an idea about making a pen that could translate anything that you thought and would write it down for you.
That's amazing.
And his
So-
idea, this comes from, as far as I can understand, he didn't speak a lot of English, but as far as I can understand,
Are you
he
sure that's
wanted
what
to-
he was saying?
he
He wasn't just trying to write down "fuck off."
He tried. I think his idea was to try to basically translate the hieroglyphs into English or Egyptian.
It was never been done. Never been done.
Exactly. This was the brainchild of Fahid or Fajay.
AJ.
And I mean, I'm not going to bore you with the science behind it, but the idea was to speaking to the pen, and then through electronic this would go through your hand, left or right. It was bilingual.
That's the stickler. That's the thing we'd have a problem with.
And
It could be either. Yeah, it's fine. Oh, right,
and
sweet.
we didn't discriminate. And and it would write down, it would translate, or likewise, if you wanted to write in hieroglyphs, an English word or a modern word, then it would draw the picture.
Did you ever see this invention in action, or was it just purely the idea that he?
Well, yes, yep. You should do it. Yep, absolutely. You wouldn't believe how similar hieroglyph boobs are to normal boobs.
Really?
Right.
Really?
It's uncanny.
I
Uncanny.
can see that if all you are writing is boobs. Yeah, I can see that.
Well, it's that was. I won't say that was mainly what we drew. Again, penises. They're pretty universal. So we're still waiting. We're still waiting for the pendant on that. We called it the Cairo Biro. And we'll. So if you see that in any shops, you will let
That's
me know.
great.
Okay. Can you just quickly, Beck? Can you please run us through as quickly as you can, summarize, if you were, the other 5 remaining pendants that you had?
Yeah, because I love them. They were great.
They were great. I remember them. They were great. You were yabbering on about the pub the other day. You're like, "Oh, he's brilliant." We've heard about the Cairo Biro.
There was
we had the Papa Don't Preach. We've heard about that one, but I really want to hear about the other. If you could just
so we did the machine that turns the water back into seawater.
Yeah,
right?
Lovely.
Yeah,
lovely. Big hit.
We did a clip on the nose that makes your nose look smaller.
Smaller, lovely.
There was a shoe that never comes back.
Shoe that never comes back.
No further questions. There was a yellow bucket.
Yeah.
And what is it? There were these
yellow bucket is amazing.
Zero D chess.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God, well remembered.
Actually.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've just remembered another one.
Yeah.
We have also invented a can that you can't open.
Oh, a can that you can't.
Yes. Yep.
What's it called?
I can't. Oh, sorry.
Oh, jeez.
There's a can't that you what?
There's a word for people that ruin punchlines. I can't remember what it is.
I wish I'd never told Ben about that one before, actually. We invented them for alcoholics and obese people.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah.
Good.
That's great.
You've
So
done
they've
your
got
bit.
something to handle, like a cigarette that they can't light.
Exactly. It's
Which, by the way, is a great
Goes through the
idea
motions.
for a patent. That's a great idea for a patent. A
Yeah,
cigarette
really
that you
good
can't light.
Yeah.
There you go. If
That's actually
nothing
pretty
else
good.
is achieved
That's not bad.
of
You
these
could- if a
inane
cigarette that you-
dribbles, I'm sure violent crime won't go up exponentially for people that can't light cigarettes.
People just losing their fucking shit.
And so that is the time that I had patents pending.
Nice. Very nice. What an interesting story. It's good. But I'm still stuck on Papa Don't Preach.